welcome to tip number 4. My name is Lisa Bauer and I have been using this lockdown period to share some vocal tips and general music concepts so as to hopefully inspire you to continue your practice and stay motivated from home. Today I want to talk to you about a very familiar interval. And in musical terms, an interval is the distance between two tones. So this particular one is very interesting because it has a dark history, and it's called the tritone. The tritone in history since medieval times has always been considered to be diabolical, and the reason for that is pure science. It is the fact that it makes you feel uncomfortable, it creates tension, it's dissonant. Dissonance is a word that we use especially in music theory and classical Western theory, and it sounds like this. It wants to resolve to a nice clean open fifth, and over the years it's been used in film scores, in many songs to create that sort of uncomfortable tension. However, jazz musicians love the tritone because it is what gives blues music, for example, traditional 12-bar blues, its driving force of the yearning and the mournful and the sorrowful tone of the tritone, or the blue note. I would like to just give you a little bit of background. In fact, I'm going to quote from John Sloboda, a professor of music psychology at London's Guildhall School of Music and Drama. He explained to NPR in 2012 that the dissonant intervals of the devil's tritone are particularly affecting because of this listener's instinct to find resolution in music and the fact that we're used to getting it. So it's an interval that is unexpected, and it definitely pulls at one's heartstrings. So for example, a few famous tunes or melodic lines from a few famous pieces, such as Maria from the musical West Side Story, very well known. Maria, I've just met a girl named Maria. And it has that sort of excitement inside that interval, but it does resolve. In the blues, it's very much established in a blues scale. The blues scale that we use and know today officially on C sounds like this. And wedged in there is your blue note. And it's also used in many heads or blues tunes that you'll recognize. Work song, for example, of where it really is effective in creating the atmosphere and the drive behind the feeling of the blues. So if you listen to one of the licks, hold it steady right there while I hit it. There I reckon that ought to get it. Been working and working, but I still got so terrible long to go. Another example is in the classic jazz standard Moanin' by Bobby Timmons. Everybody knows I'm moaning 'cause of all the trouble I see. Life's a losing gamble to me. And without that, it would just be not quite as emotive, right? But I do think that there's a lot of scholarly writings and papers on this subject. So I'm not going to claim to know all the accuracies of the historical timeline of the tritone, but I do know that it has been a topic of great conspiracy. I think it could possibly be a myth that it's the devil's tritone. I think it was translated from diabolical, which comes back from the fact that in the medieval times it was just difficult for vocalists at the time to sing the tritone accurately. I think that's why it is also used in some of the school curriculums, especially for seniors leaving high school on the music level that they need to be, that they are able to pitch a tritone accurately. It's something that almost tests the musical ear to the extremes. So anything that is chromatically next door to each other on the keys, or anything that crunches, is definitely not an easy, comfortable sound. So using this as a compositional tool to create tension in the music, whether it be for a music score, for a film, or whether it just be your own composition because you're feeling like you have lockdown blues. And watch the space, perhaps you'll be hearing more about that next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.